So I'm just in a test Cliniko account at the moment. This is what it will look like when it goes live on Friday. So there's questions about the setup for it. So I'll go through the setup first, and then I'll show you how the actual call works. So I'll go into settings in Cliniko, and the first thing I need to do is turn on Telehealth for some appointment types. So you go settings, appointment types. You'll see there's already 2 that I have here with Telehealth enabled. I'll turn it on for the others. So I just go down the bottom of the appointment types settings page and choose on for Telehealth. And I'll do it for my other one as well. All right, so I went in, I edited those 2 appointment types, and I turned on Telehealth. What that's actually doing is meaning that any new appointment created of these types is going to have a video link to go with it, and all your existing upcoming appointments too. So it'll enable it on your existing ones. If you already have booked in all your appointments for the next few weeks and you're switching to Telehealth with those, you can just turn on Telehealth and you will get the video links for all of them. Otherwise, you might be wanting to create new Telehealth specific type appointments, and you can do that in here and turn it on for those. Once you've done that, the other thing I recommend you do is go into the settings area and go to your appointment confirmations and just edit your confirmation that goes out. These can be per appointment type. And what you'll find is you have another option in there. If I go to appointment, you can click Telehealth link in here, and that can insert a folder. So you can go put in the Telehealth link. That'll go into your email that's going out as the confirmation, and that'll be a link they can click to enter the chat in the time of the appointment. Also, if you do attach a calendar event to the email, then the calendar event will have the chat link in there as the location of the calendar event as well. So you just go in here, put in the link for whatever appointment types you're turning on Telehealth for, and save that. And that's all the setup you need to do to get ready once we launch it. So you're turning it on in appointment type, and you're putting a placeholder in your confirmation templates, and you're done. Now you can put it in your reminders as well. I would just wait and see. At the moment, the link that the patient gets is quite long, so I'm not sure I'd recommend it in your SMS reminders, because it might use up a lot of your character limit in an SMS. We're seeing if we can get that link down shorter. So maybe by Friday when we launch it, it could be shorter and okay. But if it stays as it is at the moment, you probably don't want to put it in the SMS. We'll communicate that on launch. Once that's done, go back to your calendar and your appointments here. If you click on one that does have Telehealth, you'll find us now got this join video call option here. So I'm just going to click on that and open it in a new tab, and it takes me into the call here. So this is what it looks like from a practitioner side of things. It's very similar from the patient side as well. On the practitioner side, we will be adding more things to here. So you'll be getting medical alerts underneath the video here. If you've seen this, the images we put out earlier, you'll be able to write your treatment notes underneath. You'll be able to view previous treatment notes and a bit of other information under there too. So right now, though, this is pretty much what it will look like when it goes live. We do have a chat, so I'm going to pull out the chat window here, and I can type to them as well. And probably Michelle can respond in there. So you'll be able to talk to them. I expect you'll use the chat most likely. So come up with Adrian for the moment. But most likely, I expect you'll use the chat for troubleshooting if need be. So if the people are joining, they're having trouble getting the video going or something, you can use chat for that. I don't expect you're going to use it a lot during the call, but it's there for you if you do need it. That's a good point, Jack, sharing links and resources. Also, some other things here, so you can turn your video on and off. There is screen share available for as soon as we go live. That's already operational. I won't do it now because I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm like sharing screen. But that's operational already, so you'll have that when it goes live. A lot of people have been asking about like whiteboard functionality. So we don't have any of that built in, but because you can share your screen, you can do anything you like. So if you bring up a drawing tool on your computer and share your screen, that will come through. So you can turn your microphone on and off, your video, like I mentioned. There's also settings in here. So I can go in here, if you've got multiple cameras, choose which camera to use, or multiple microphones, you pick your microphone as well, patient. obviously has a similar thing to that as well. And other than that, that's about it. The quality of the video, I don't know if it comes through well here, but it's really good. We've been using it for days now. And I'm just saying, remote control, no remote control function, but they can share their screen as well. So we've been using this video chat for days now, testing it, and haven't had a dropout, haven't had a problem with it yet. There's a couple of little bugs we're still fixing up before it goes live, like I said, which we think is on Friday. But the video call itself, the quality and the reliability is excellent. The privacy is what you want from it. It's set up securely. It's going to meet all the standards for storing health records and being used for health consultations. I'm not sure what else I tell you about. I think that's it. It's just simple. And the workflow is really easy. You get to it from your calendar, you just join the meeting, and for your patient, you're going to have a link sent out to them in the email, and it's just one click. It's going to work on almost any browser. And if there's if it's a browser it doesn't support, they'll get a nice message letting them know. I think we'll even actually tell them what browsers are available to them on their device that they could use that will work. Yeah, you can definitely do that, Jack. Jack's just asking if you can manually grab a link to push and share to them. So when I first went into the meeting, before Michelle joined, I had a screen up that lets me copy the link to be able to share with people as well. So I think one of the things of note, I can see nice comments here, which is really good to see, is we're launching something that we consider sort of a minimum viable product here. We've obviously worked really fast on it, and we're getting it out as fast as we can, but we're sort of releasing something with reduced features, but the quality is there. There's no point giving you something to talk to your patients that's going to drop out and annoy them and give you a bad reputation for telehealth straight away. So the quality will be good. It's just got reduced functionality for the moment, but it has the ease of use that we'd want, and particularly for your patients as well. Like I said, they click and they go in. They don't need to sign in. We already know who they are because we've sent them a specific link, so they don't need to do anything on join. It'll be really simple. So there's a question about dropouts for people online working from home. So it does a pretty nice job of degrading the quality of the video pending the internet connection. So it'll still keep the audio going, and it will reduce the quality of the video if the connection's not good enough to stay sort of reliable and that you can speak with them. So it's pretty good on lower internet connections as well. And I haven't seen an actual dropout from it yet. And we've been using it also, not just talking within Australia, like Michelle's in the UK at the moment. We've been using it with people around the world, and it's working just fine. iPad and iPhone, yes, you can use those. That's no problem. Practitioner and patient both can use them. We've been testing on that as well. What other features we want to add? So the next parts are going to be around the treatment notes and everything down the bottom, sort of taking advantage of the fact that this is built into your practice management system and we have access to other information to give you on this screen. There's the multi-person video that's going to come soon after that. I've got a question about costs. We don't know the costs for it yet. There will be a fee for it a bit later on because we do pay a fee to provide the service to you. But it does take us quite a while to build the billing system to charge you, and we're not holding it up for that. So for the moment, we're just focused on getting it out to you. And at some point when we have the time to go back and build a billing system behind it, then it will. I don't know the exact pricing. I don't like to be wrong and put out a number with that, but I'm sure it's going to be less than $1 an hour to be using it, and it might be a bit less than that. I want to err on the side of caution in giving you a number, but I don't think it's going to be expensive, and mostly we're just going to pass on the cost that we need to have. So I think it'll be very cheap, and probably very cheap compared to other ones that are out there. What else we've got here? Questions. So recording. So at the moment, we're not offering recording. The problem with recording is that it's very expensive for us to do, and that would mean passing on additional costs. We know we can do it, and we're pretty confident we will do it. But in the meantime, you can just record it locally on your computer. So you could use like QuickTime if you're on a Mac. I'm not sure the alternative on a Windows, but you can just use a recording program on your local computer to record it and store it. And then down the track, when we offer some cloud recording and storage, you can use that. But there will be fees with it, and I'm not sure. It could be a little bit expensive for the recording. Recommended camera, mic, and headphone setup. I've got pretty simple here, so I'm just using the camera in my Mac computer. I do have a better microphone on it, but I don't think it's needed. Like, you can use your phone, you can use built-in things on a laptop. I don't think it's so important, at least to get up and running, especially because you're in a rush. And then I think, other than that, maybe we'll find some information on some recommended models or things. But even now, it's hard to buy web cameras; they're all sold out. So I think you'd go with what you have. Let me see other questions quickly. Someone said I missed the part about the patient notes. We don't have that yet. That is coming. I think I've got through all the questions there. If I've missed any, please do repeat them and I'll have a look. So I'll drop out of the call now. In fact, Michelle, if you want to drop out first, people can see the screen after you do. Thank you for that. So Michelle's dropped out. I think it'll go back to a different screen soon. But again, this is still not quite finished. The chat, so I'll pull out the chat again. Even though Michelle's no longer there, this is what it looked like when we were typing in the chat. 2 people on a call, not when we first launch it, which should be Friday, but it will come afterwards. Exercise templates, you can't upload them as such, but you can screen share. So anything you can play on your computer, you can share with a patient. Portrait landscape, it'll work, it is responsive. So we're actually tweaking that at the moment to make sure it looks right. So you can see here now, this is what I think Jack was asking about before. So I've got connection lost. Here I've got the link that I can copy and paste to them. And this is also the link I mentioned that's quite long. Hopefully we can shorten it. It will be a little bit shorter than this, but hopefully we can get it short enough for SMS by the time we launch it. So conference call coming soon, not yet. The chat function is only when they're in this call page. So at some point we might extract it out and put it as part of Cliniko rather than part of this, but at the moment it's only part of the video calls. Playing a clip on the computer, I have no idea if they will hear it or not. I'll test that out and see if we can get something sorted for it. When you screen share, you're in control of your computer. You don't give access to them. So as long as you make sure what you've got on the screen they can see, you should be fine. And yet they can turn off their camera and mic if they stay on this page and chat as well. There's a question about payments. So it's kind of separate for us to this launch of getting video chats out, but we are also working on payments for online bookings and currently on track to launch that this Friday as well. And that will be getting your own Stripe account and plugging that into Cliniko to do payments for online bookings. And then later on, in the coming weeks, hopefully, we can get payments for other things, not just the online bookings. For those that joined late, I'll go through really quickly again. So when we make this live, you just go to settings, appointment types, choose your type of appointment, and down the bottom, you just turn on Telehealth. And that's all you need to do for the video chats to be enabled. And the other option you'll have is to go into your settings and appointment confirmations. And in here, you'll be able to add a link for Telehealth that goes out with your emails and becomes part of the calendar event. That's all you need to do to turn it on and get up and running with it. And if you turn it on for existing appointment types, it'll apply to all your existing appointments that are coming up as well. And when you're on the appointments, this is how I got into it. I clicked on the appointment and just went join video call. The Stripe integration is not live yet. We expect Friday for that. And it will be with Stripe only, at least for now. The other thing I made a very brief mention of at the start is we do have forms coming as well. So there'll be abilities to create forms similar to how you do your treatment note templates at the moment, to create a form just like that and email those out with your confirmation emails, for example, for your patients to fill in securely and store in the patient record. So that's on track, I think, to go out next week. Done that. Private health rebates, there's nothing changing specifically for this. So you can use the existing Medipass things. I know they've updated for the new telehealth stuff that's coming out. And probably best to chat to them directly about it, although I think there's some in here and they might answer in the channel. But also they have some new stuff coming out soon. They'll probably be communicating with people.
Yep, so Joel Fahad here from Medipass. We're kind of working through what the government's releasing as well, but we're expecting Medicare to push some stuff out for allied health as well for telehealth. And where applicable, if allied health gets opened up, which is, fingers crossed, we'll be supporting it and making it completely free of charge until then September, a week longer if needed. And we're working on some payment stuff as well. So happy for anyone to reach out to me.
I'm going to screen share one more time. I've got like a little animated GIF. Let me make sure there's nothing on there. It shouldn't be there. All right, I'll show you what the forms is starting to look like. Okay, hopefully people can see that. This little animated GIF showing some of the parts of the patient forms. So it's currently showing where it's in the patient record, although that could change before we launch it. This is very early on, I would say, the patient forms. Like I said, it's not going out this week. So it's a bit rougher what I'm showing you here. And this is what the form looks like now, at least the rough styling of it. The GIF will repeat, so I'll let it go through again. So this is showing where it's sitting in the patient file, but like I said, I think it'll probably move from there before it goes live. You set it up the same as a treatment note template. There's just an area in settings for these patient forms, but it's the same interface like treatment note templates. You have the email go out to them with the link, and then they see the form that looks like this. The Clinic Apps question, will it trigger actions? Which part do you mean to trigger actions, Andrew, in Clinic Apps? I don't think we've done anything specific with the API with this, so I don't think we're pushing new events they can pick up on. But if you let me know exactly what you're after, I'll give a more accurate answer. Graham, yep, so that form that I just showed, the main purpose is to put it in your appointment confirmation. So you'll be able to put one or more forms in your appointment confirmation emails that you set up. Andrew, what do you mean? What get picked up as an appointment type? You mean telehealth? So I believe in Clinic Apps you can already do by different appointment types, and you'll probably just have some appointment types now that are telehealth and aren't. So you could probably already do that with no change. But we will expose the telehealth flag in the API so that Clinic Apps could grab that and do something different if you wanted to. Ove, if you mean will you be able to see the form they filled out in the treatment notes, I don't know yet. Where we had it in that little demo I showed you, I think is too far out of the way, you wouldn't find it. So we need to find a way to show it to you when the person comes in for their appointment. I just don't know yet where that will be. We've talked about potentially putting it on the appointment in the calendar, interweaving them into the treatment notes. I'm not sure yet what the end result will be. Again, like probably more than ever, things are moving quite fast now, and we're designing a little bit as we go through the tasks. Although we kind of do that normally anyway. Online payment system in Europe. So Andreas, we're using Stripe, who I believe are in many countries in Europe. It would be a matter of whether or not you can have a Stripe account in the country you're in. If not, let us know, and then we can have a look at what payment providers are there, but it will be only Stripe to start with. Question, can you put the notes into the file section? If you mean the form that the people are filling out, I'm not sure we put it in the file section because I think we can do better with it than that because we know what information's in it and we can parse it a little more. So I think we'll find a good spot to put it. Yeah, it's a good point, Erica. If people are using that as the COVID-19 sort of screening questions, then it's not enough for it to go into the treatment notes. We're also talking about putting a flag on those forms, whether they contain medical information or not, so that we know if it can be shown to just practitioners or to reception and other staff as well. Maybe we'll end up with that flag, and that'll dictate where it turns up in Cliniko. That's a good question that just came through, and thank you for the kind words coming in there. That's a good question about a consent form. So there won't be one on first release, but it's been requested a lot. So I would expect by sometime next week we'll have a consent form in some way on the video chats. I'm just having a look at another recording question. It won't be recorded, but will the duration of the video call recorded? So Jade, we won't be recording the duration of the video call on first release, but very soon we will. So the plan with the duration of the call, we want to, not so long ago, we released the ability to put sort of a communication record into Cliniko if you've just done a phone call with someone or something. So that's on the patient's page under communications. And we plan to record a log of your video calls there. So the idea we have at the moment, and everything comes with a disclaimer that it could change because it's happening so quick. But the idea is to record in the communications when the call started, when the call finished, and also drop the chat log of the call into there, but we won't have that on day one. Any more webinars about Cliniko and certain reports? We've talked a lot about doing webinars for Cliniko, sort of general training webinars. We don't have anything planned at the moment, and I doubt we're going to get to do that in the next month or two while things are so crazy, but I can definitely see it in our future. Aside from that, we're putting together a lot of video content, so if you haven't seen our YouTube channel, you can check that out. There's a lot of tips there. Another question about recording the video, not right away, but at some point, and our cost price for recording videos is a bit pricey, so there will be fees with it. In the meantime, you can record it yourself locally on your computer. Forms to the appointment notes section, they could be. Graham, that's a possibility. It's not an easy answer, Beck, about is this my lounge room or a shared office? So it's a place, our team is remote, and we have this place set up that we do team meetups here, but it's in a barn that's renovated on my property. So I use it as an office, which is quite good for me. And then we use it as a meetup space when the team comes to visit. So Andreas, you were saying there's no Stripe in Cyprus. We won't be able to do it at the same time because it's a fair bit of work to connect to the payment provider, but I'll flag it with our team so we can look into other options and see what we can do. So Alison, you're asking how many people to add to group telehealth sessions. If we do up to 4 or 6, I think it is, we get to use the same technology we're using now, and any more than that, it changes a little bit. We go via a relay server. So I think that the stage 2 would be getting it up to 4 or 6, whatever lets us do it with the current technology we're using. It's not a big change to go bigger than that, but I think that it'll probably be in stages, 4 to 6 next, and then look to go large groups afterwards. I should mention as well with group sessions that our pricing is based on the number of people in the meeting. And again, at some point we'll need to pass on the pricing. So I expect that bigger sessions would have a higher rate. A question from Podiatry Clinic about patients signing the form at the end. Not currently, but I know that everyone wants that. So at some point we will get to it. I'm not sure when yet though. Stripe will be active for online bookings specifically to start with. So not tied into telehealth. So any online bookings you'll be able to put Stripe connected to for payment. Tim, I think it depends by profession, but I don't know the details on that. I know we've got a blog post coming out really soon that Medipass did for us on some details on this. And otherwise, I also don't know if you use Medipass, but if you reach out to them, they're probably good ones to ask about that. But I think we'll finish up now. And if you have any more questions, you can always post them as comments on the Facebook post there, and we'll be checking it and answer all the questions there. Thanks everyone for coming to join and your interest in this. We're working very hard, and like I said, we think we'll have this out to you on Friday.